Welcome to Her Story, Our Story, 1 hour of power. Meet your host, Stephanie Wall, and your co-host, Hope Jackson. Are you tired of feeling like you don't have the power to make all of your dreams come true? Women are powerful. You're a woman, and you know that women are powerful. But sometimes it's hard to remember how much power we have when the world around us makes us feel powerless. And that is why I created Her Story, Our Story, 1 hour of power. It's an online community where women can come together for support, encouragement, and inspiration so they can remember their own power every day. So join us on our mission to empower women by joining Her Story, Our Story, 1 hour of power today. Hey, new members. So let's go. Join us at Her Story, Our Story. The Her Story, Our Story, you already heard. You heard the opening. It's time to get to the meat and the potatoes. So I'm excited. I'm excited to kick it on over to my favorite girl, my co-host, Hope Jackson. Hope, tell them who you are, what you do, and all that good stuff.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Hope Jackson, the owner and founder of Always Hope, and my mission and purpose to help women to transform and change so they are not stuck in any traumatic events in their lives. So right now we want to give honor to God, and we're going to I'm going to open with a prayer, and then we will go on to an icebreaker. So Heavenly Father, we just thank you for allowing us to come together tonight, Lord Father God. We thank you for allowing Stephanie to choose guests to be intentional in regards to transforming women's lives. Lord Father God, we as women must come together in a community to support each other and to be there for each other because times are hard and we must stick together. So Lord Father God, we thank you for all those that will be joining, whether it is on live, YouTube, Facebook. We just ask you to bless each and every one of them and allow them to hear something tonight that will shift or transform their thinking and their mindset. And all things we ask in your mighty and precious name. Amen. So, Bree, got an icebreaker for you. If you could visit any time period in history, where would it be and why?
So this is just like to experience it. I think I would go back to the 60s. And I just want to see like how it was. Like I hear about the struggle, but also just like the beauty. Like my great aunts always tell me about how they could walk down the street and like pick some figs from this tree, apples from this other one. Like there was fresh fruit always growing around them. They had hogs and everything at the house. Like it wasn't on a farm. It was just like normal for them. So I would just like to see how life was there, the good and the bad. So I would just love to like get a glance of that moment in time.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. So next thing we want to know is, what is your 5-word story?
So I had to make it 4 words because otherwise it would have been longer than 5. But from teenage mom to homeowner.
Okay, can you just kind of explain the teenage mom to homeowner just a little bit? Not too much because we're going to get into it later, but just a little bit just to give people a glimpse.
So my senior year of high school, I was pregnant with my daughter, and I had her a couple weeks before my 18th birthday. And then it was a struggle, but won't go into that just yet. And then later on at age 20, I started the process of buying my own home, which was another struggle, but I was successful and closed on it just 10 days after my 21st birthday.
All right, well, I definitely can't wait to get into this story so we can learn about teenage mom to homeowner. So right now we're gonna kick it back over to Miss Stephanie Wall, Tower of Power, and our wonderful, wonderful host who just continues to bless us all with all that she does. So Stephanie, back to you.
Thank you, Hope. Well, y'all, first of all, I need y'all to look at me. Do y'all see this beautiful? Now, look, y'all got on some leggings and some pants, workout pants. But listen, y'all check out this here. I ain't gonna turn around the back because I don't need y'all seeing my dunk back here. But let me tell you, look. But if you look on my page, you will see the back. Look, if Hope wants to turn around and show her back. But wait a minute, there you go. Hope, come up a little bit so you can see the words. Come into the, because then tell them what it says on the back there. There we go. What does it say on the back, or are they different?
No, so on the back is Job 11:18, and it just says, "You will be secure. You will be secure because there's always hope."
And let me tell you something right now. Listen, I'm feeling like Vanna Black up in here, but let me tell you, this is, how sometimes you buy a hoodie and it's too much, right? It's too thick, or it's too thin, right? This is perfect. And y'all don't know, here in Maryland, fall has rolled in, so this is perfect. And listen, if you look, always hope. So go to Hope. We'll put the information in the chat. Get yours. I have a t-shirt that's the color of Hope's hoodie. So baby, but these are my colors, as you can see. So I was in love. I was in heaven. So everybody, I am Stephanie Wall, the Tower of Power, the CEO. Hello, who's calling me? Hello. Who? No, we can't do that. Hello, no. Okay, somebody from Facebook look like y'all. Anywho, so I am the founder of Speaker Stephanie LLC. I am the founder of HerStory, OurStory, 1 Hour of Power, and the founder of 1 Million Lives Transformed. We transform in lives, we transform in relationships, and we transform in finances. So in the house today is Bree Smith. Y'all got to read. Y'all know I'm going to read Bree's bio because she's going to give you the story, but I got to read it because I got to read it. So as a CPA, Brianna works with her clients to create a blueprint to help them to create a financial plan to reach their goals, to eliminate their stress around money. Her experience in both the accounting and finance industries provides a plethora of resources and information. Through her services, Brianna empowers her clients with the knowledge to succeed. Life was not always rosy for Bree. She was a single mother at the age of 17. Was I so? Yes. It was during this time that she was kicked out of her mom's home with her 4-month-old daughter. She moved in with her grandmother, where she shared a twin bed with her daughter. She went from trying to figure it out to how to get a car and get a job so she can have some money and transportation, go to college. But then she bought her first home at the age of 20. Now, what were y'all doing at 20? I know what I was doing, and I certainly wasn't buying a house. So, Bray, I need to hear this story here. And she sold it for more than $100K for profits and purchased a new home with her and her love. Now, she and her husband are currently working on their 5 to 10-year plan, which includes retiring him. Bree, we want to hear about that. My husband probably want to know more about that information right there. And Bree believes that no matter what life has thrown at you, you can be successful and win with more money. And you can reach her at Bree, BRIE, at bdsmithfinancial.com. Ladies and gentlemen,
it's just BRI at BD Smith Financial.
Oh, we need to fix that. Put the right one in there, please. Because y'all, I know you've been tapping on it and all mad because y'all can't get there. Now we'll get the right one. So Bree, welcome to HerStory, OurStory, and you have quite a story. Yes. Quite a story. So you know what? I got to come on back here because I was like, wait a minute. Because Bree, you in Virginia right now.
Yes.
Is that where your family is from?
Yeah. As far as I know, we've always been here.
Because when you said the hogs up in the house, I said, now, we right here we in Maryland, in the last southern state. And, we do have cows and we got all that. We got all that. Well, you said up in the house. I said, girl.
Not in the house, but in the yard.
Okay, but I was trying to get one in there. I was like, our people, we want to, we put bleach in water and stuff. I was like, but also understand now, my mama and them, we every generation has a different thing, right? I remember, we had air conditioning, right? And my mama was something, she'd leave school early to go home. It was quite a few siblings. And she also became pregnant, but she had to go home, and she talked about sweeping the floor with them, like we think about brooms. We talk about they probably put some stuff together, tied up, and just sweeping, wood floors. So it's a different time. But I want to know, I want you to tell me, one, because there's other people on here. Matter of fact, I know, wait a minute, it might be, I don't know if it's all of us, because right now, for those of us that are in the room, by show of hand or virtual hand, were you a young mother? If you were, raise your hand. Okay. And so now tell me if then you can say I'd rather not if I ask you a question that is too close to home or you don't feel comfortable. So what led to you having to come out of your mom's house? Was it because you were pregnant, or was it because you were that girl?
I don't think I was really that bad. Me and my mom, we didn't get along very well as when I was a teenager. We didn't get along very well I don't know, since puberty hit, or a little before then. Like we just didn't. I'm the oldest of 4, and I was a mother before I was a mother. So I helped to raise all of my siblings, and because of that, I was bitter. My mom became a single mom of 4, after her marriage ended, and it was tough on her, and she needed help. And so she leaned on me, but I felt like, as a kid, I felt like just a big load was put on me, like too much was put on me. I was cooking, I was cleaning, any mess they made, I had to clean up. It was a lot. So not to go too far, because I love my mom. And things are better now. But yeah, it was too much. So it caused us to have issues. And there was a misunderstanding where we went to court, and she actually applied for custody of my daughter, joint with me, but she didn't tell me about it until we got there. So that's not something to blindside someone with. We since talked, and her intentions were pure to help make sure that I kept my baby. But in that moment, I felt like she was trying to take my baby from me. And so, getting blindsided, like, whoa, are you trying to steal my kid? I left and went to my grandmother's house to just like have a cool down period, because I didn't want to be around her. So I left and went over there. And when I came back home, she just went off and told me I could pack all my stuff and leave. And so I did, because I didn't want to be there anyway. So
and so I did. So wait a minute, but let me just say this, because I as a mother, I have 3. We have 3 sons, and as a daughter, right? Who at 16 was pregnant, and so I had my son when I was 17, and so I know that we are emotional creatures, and puberty is a mamma jamma. And I will tell you that I'm convinced that every kid loses, pretty much not every kid, but most of them, all I've seen thus far, we lose our mind at age 16. I say the most kids, either you're going to love them and they're just beautiful at 16, they just stay just beautiful, or they lose their mind from 16 to 18 to maybe 21, and you like, I don't even know if I like you. Right? And then you get back to becoming friends. And then after that, it's like, poof, you're best of friends. But I will tell you that I was a bit much myself. And I had words, and I was going to stand my ground. At 16, I was pregnant, and I went to go live with my cousin, Ravon, for this, right? And until after having my baby, I came back home for a year when I turned 18, and then I moved out and got my own apartment the same year. So, but I say all that to say that my mom is deceased. Our mom is deceased, but I had an opportunity to have a conversation with her later on, and I was so glad that I did, to talk about those things and how I felt and how she felt. Mm-hmm. And now all of us are older now, and we say this one thing: there's no manual. There's a lot of manuals. There's no one size fits all. Mm-hmm. And our parents do the best that they know how to do at raising us, but we don't understand none of that when we growing up, because all we know is you just so old fashioned, all of that stuff. And then girl, you got a daughter, right?
Yes.
Get ready, my friend. She gonna say it. They all say it. We all say it, right? But just know that I'm glad to hear that you love your mom, and that you had a conversation, and that she's still around, and you had an opportunity to talk about that and to deal with bury that hatchet. Because I want to tell you, if you've ever been on Clubhouse, and I was on Clubhouse, there are a lot of people, not just women, a lot of people that do not have a relationship with their mother, and they do not speak to them. They like, they have, over 20 years, like they're not talking to them. And so, I was going to share that with you. So Bree, tell me about, give us the story of, okay, so you were out, you live with your grandmother. Now take us there and take us from that moment, give us the summary and right on into how you came to be who you are today.
So I went to live with my grandma, who has been my best friend all my life. So love her. She's in heaven now, but she's still the best ever. And while I was there, not only did I realize that, hey, I got some issues I need to work on, because I even started clashing with like the world's most beautiful angel. So I was like, all right, it's me. I need to fix me. And then also, I just had to get a plan, because we're sharing a twin bed. I would have loved being there if I did not have a kid. It was always the plan for me to go move in with grandma as soon as I turned 18, because, hey, love her. But now I got a kid and this ain't comfortable. I had a full bed all my life. My mom spoiled me. So, I'm sharing a twin bed with a kid. This isn't working. So and I had college starting, and I didn't want to postpone school. I didn't want to postpone like any of my accomplishments that I had in my mind I wanted to do. So I said, just because I have a daughter, that doesn't mean that any of my goals stop. That doesn't mean that anything gets put on hold. I refuse to like have it be that I had to graduate 5 years later or anything like that. The way I saw it in my mind was, even more so now, I need a career. I need a strong source of income, because it's not just me, it's me and a kid, and I want her to have the best life possible. I never wanted my daughter to know that we struggled or to experience the struggle that I was going through. So I made it up in my mind. I said, okay, while she's young, before she can remember anything, like I'm going to get set up so that when it gets to a point where she can remember things, she's only going to remember a great life. She's not going to remember mommy struggling. So I made a plan. I worked 2 jobs that summer and got my first car. And then I started being able to drive myself to college. So, but after the first couple of weeks of school, I was driving myself there. And then I quit one of my jobs so that I could focus on school and my grades. I kept doing that. That car broke down on me, but luckily I had already paid it off. So within like 6 to 7, like I paid it off in 6 months, because they said you need to build credit. And then like month 7, it just went all to heck. Like everything was wrong with it. So then I had to get another car. So I bought another car, and with the help of my other grandmother that's in North Carolina, and she helped me with that. And I paid her off probably within like 2 to 3 months, because I had the money. I just didn't want to let my account go to zero. So it was better to borrow from grandma in that moment. And she let me, because I always paid her back on time or early, because I don't like owing money either. And
wait a minute. What kind of job did you get?
So I was working at Food Line as a cashier. I was only making like $8.50 an hour, but then I also had the Pell Grant, and I had student loans, which they allowed me to take out for school. And so I would take out the max amount allowed for school, and then I would put it in a savings account. Because the way I saw it, I need to have a nest egg just in case, because I have a kid, and you're not going to give it back to me if I decline it. So I'm going to just take it and then put it away in savings and use it if it becomes necessary. But if not necessary, I was going to leave it alone so that it could be paid off before it started having interest put on it. So that was my plan. Not pay interest, and to make sure that we had a good, like, solid foundation. So when you're a single mom, you just got to use whatever tricks are in your hat. And so that's what I was doing at the time. And then I went from working at Food Line because it cut my hours to getting a full-time job at First Virginia, which was a horrible payday loan place. They just offer such horrible like interest rates. Don't do it. It's like 300% APR. I secretly wanted to tell every customer, like, don't do it. Go to Navy Federal or somewhere else. Like, just don't. Just say no. But I worked there and it was full time. So me being able to work full time, I now had benefits, and they did tuition reimbursement up to $5,000 for my classes. So I would give them all my receipts for my classes, and I would get that $5,000, and then I put it into savings. Because again, I had to build up my nest egg. And so that's what I did. So then that following year in December, I got my own apartment. So at 19, I moved out of grandma's house, got my apartment for me and my daughter. We just got like a simple 2-bedroom, and it was only $625 a month. So I didn't go for the bells and whistles. I just needed to be on the second floor and have a washer and dryer hookup because I wasn't going to the laundromat. So I just went ahead and did that. And from there, I was up one night and I was like, I wonder if I can buy a house and pay less in a mortgage than I pay in rent. Like, I'm paying $625 in rent. Ain't no way I can get a house payment lower than that, right? But I went looking and then I was like, oh snap, like it's available. Like they had calculators because I'm a nerd. So yes, I'm up at 2 a.m. playing with calculators on Navy Federal's website. And you could put in your monthly payment you wanted and it would tell you the range of house you could buy. So my range was like 60 something to 80 something $1,000. So I was like, bet, let's go. So I went and I looked at all of those houses. I was finding condos, I was finding 2-bedroom homes and things like that, a lot of rundown ones. And I got the advice of my grandmother in North Carolina. My grandparents down there, they've taught me, they gave me the greatest foundation of finances. Any financial question I had, I went to them because they're millionaires and that's where I wanted to be. So I would run it by them. I was like, okay, I want to buy a house. What do I do? Well, they were like, well, you want to get you a single family home. You don't want to be connected to someone because that's going to have a higher value if you can. So try and get a single family home and also get 3 bedrooms and try your best to get at least 2 baths. It's like, that's going to be your best way to resale. So I said, okay. So I stopped looking at the 2-bedroom houses. I stopped looking at condos because for me at first, I was just thinking, I just want to own something that I'm paying for less than my rent. That was my only goal. But they gave me those parameters. So it's always good to seek wise counsel. And so when they gave me those parameters, I said, okay, I'm looking for a single family home, 3 bedroom, and somewhere close to at least 2 baths so that I can get a great resale. And I'm so grateful that they told me that. And the perfect house just popped up. I actually found it myself on like Zillow or something. The market wasn't as crazy as it is now. So I could look on Zillow and find a house myself. And I had a couple realtors that didn't work out, but found one that worked, that could at least get the deal done. And I had my grandparents come and check out the house. Both sets had my parents come. Everybody had to check out the house with me because I ain't know nothing about buying a house and I ain't wanted to be all wrong because I have a landlord to call up when something went wrong now. So it was all on me. So grandpa was in the attic and everything. And so he checked out the house for me and I started the process of buying the house in January. But I went through this company and then 2 days before my closing, they said they couldn't do it anymore. They said it's going to be postponed like 2 days. And then after that, it was just, we can't do the loan. So I'm like, what is happening? And so I then went to like a few other places. They told me they couldn't do it. By then, my main bank, Navy Federal, had already told me the first time, like within a week, that they weren't going to be able to do it. So this was already my second mortgage loan officer. And right at closing, they canceled on me. So I went to like several others. And I had in my mind, I was like, okay, can I just have both of y'all go at it at the same time? And whoever gets to the finish line first wins. They said you can't do that, but I tried. And so I found this guy that was recommended by my boss, and he was willing to move heck and high water, talk to underwriting, find exactly what I needed, line everything out the right way, so that I would be able to buy my house. And it was awesome. I used him for the purchase of my second home, and will probably contact him first for any home I buy, just because his customer service is phenomenal. So,
Was he a realtor also?
No, mortgage loan officer.
Mortgage loan officer. Oh, ooh, girl, that's right. That's right. So let's talk about that. Okay.
You need a great mortgage loan officer, someone that's going to get you to close. So he had phenomenal customer service. So was contacting me at 7 at night, 8 at night, like, hey, I just need you to get over these documents. I was like, I got you. So it was a bit chaotic, but made it work. Had to go to church, say some prayers, God, please get this one through. Whatever it took. So through prayer and a great mortgage loan officer, I was able to close on my house just 10 days after my 21st birthday.
Wow. Girl, I'm sitting there like, well, listen, because I remember the just like I felt like I was signing my life away. And when we got this house, and even my condo, which I sold, I was like, oh my God. I mean, if I sign one more piece of paper. So wait a minute. So let me ask you this. So you moved out, you got a 3-bedroom house, single family house with 2 baths.
It was 1.5 baths.
1.5, but that close enough. You was
Close enough.
Okay. So, and how long did you live in that house before you sold it?
5 years. So I initially had a 2 to 3 year plan on that house. I was going to live in it for 2 to 3 years. Then I was going to rent it out, and I was going to buy another house in a better school zone for my daughter. So that was my plan. And then right after I bought my house, I met my husband. So my plan changed because my husband had 2 kids and I had 1. And so now I became a mom of 3 because I don't do any step. And so we now had to figure out how to make our family of 5 work and, handle a lot of different collections or debts that he had. So it took a little bit longer than if it would have just been me on my own, but I also wouldn't have had such a big house if it would have been me on my own either, because I didn't need all this space. So, we had plenty over there when it was just me and my daughter. I had a whole office to myself and everything. We were good, but then my son came, he took over my office. He's telling me I don't need to be in his room working on my business, He little, it's okay. He's only 5 now. So he's like 3, like, Mommy, can you get out? Like, trying to go to bed.
But wait a minute. Then, okay, you sold that house for over 100K and you bought a bigger house.
Yeah.
This is where you are now.
Yes, so that's where I'm at now. So we went from the 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath, and I bought the house for about 85, and I sold it for over 191,000. So I got an over 6-figure check. So I was excited.
I would have been excited. Shoot.
And I took that, and I didn't want to put all that money into another house because I want to be able to do investments and things. So I just took a portion of it to help with the down payment on this house that we now have. It's 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, and I think it's over 2,300 square feet or something like that. It's big enough. It's big enough. It's over 2,000 square feet at least, but it's nice and spacious, and we're blessed. We're blessed. So, my kids now got their own room. I have my own office again. And so we're all happy.
And what was your major in college?
I double majored in accounting and finance, concentrating on personal financial planning.
Have you always liked numbers and finance? Or was that always your thing, or did it become a thing because you round it all the time? What made you go into that particular field? Well,
I love math all my life, but from 3rd grade to like 10th grade, I was going to be a lawyer. I knew I was going to be a lawyer. And then one day I knew that if I was going to do it, I wanted to go all the way to be like a Supreme Court judge. And someone had told me at the time, like, when you're being a lawyer, judge, it's like you playing God with people's lives. And I was like, you got a point? Like, I don't know if I could personally just live with getting off somebody that actually committed a crime, or what if I sentenced the wrong person or sentenced the wrong way as a judge. So I was like, you know what, I don't even need that stress in my life. Lawyers coming to the school I was at, because I was in a legal studies academy, telling us that, oh, most lawyers hate their jobs. So I was like, I'll do something different. And my next love is, I love working with money. I love money. I would count money up. I'd be knowing exactly what my check was supposed to be from McDonald's. I was on it. So I was like, you know, what's that job where people help people with their money? And my mom's husband was like, that's an accountant. I was like, that's what I'm gonna be. And then that's what I went into, and you know, now I'm a CPA, but I found out that's what people do to help people with their businesses is an accountant. But while I was at school, I got into finance, and I was like, this is really what I want, because it truly helps the individual, which is what I love, like helping transform individual lives and families. You know, businesses, doing your bookkeeping does not excite me. You know, the taxes, they excite me a little bit, because I want to know what I can use for my own businesses and tax returns, so that I can, you know, pay as little as possible legally. But outside of that, I don't really care for anything accounting outside of taxes. So when it comes to finances, though, I love it. You know, we're budgeting, we're getting out of debt. You know, I came up with my own spreadsheet and things early on, just to learn Excel, and I was using that as my budgeting tool for years, to help me plan and to just stay in line. Because although I had thousands of dollars in the bank, I wasn't using it because I needed to pay back my student loans, which I did. So I ended up paying off more than half of my student loans before I graduated. Just that December, before, like a week before I graduated, I just went ahead and paid over $20,000 on it and paid that down, so that none of my loans, you have subsidized and unsubsidized. So the unsubsidized ones were about to start gaining interest. So those are the ones I paid off completely and just kept the subsidized ones.
Girl, let's talk about this now. You can talk about this subsidized and unsubsidized. Because you know, look. I know y'all say, come on with it now. Come on, because for the folks that pay, what's the difference?
So basically, when it comes to unsubsidized loans, like once you graduate, it calculates interest. I may not be right now, because I don't remember, because I paid them all off years ago. But basically, they start calculating interest from like the day that they began. But it doesn't hit your account until your graduation date. So instead of me getting hit with all that interest on those, I just went ahead and paid them all off. The subsidized ones, they didn't gain any interest until after your grace period was over. So, and I may be wrong where the unsubsidized, maybe they just started gaining interest as soon as you graduated, instead of giving your grace period. But either way, interest was coming faster on those unsubsidized loans. So I paid all of those off, and they had higher interest rates. The subsidized ones were like 3% or less, whereas the unsubsidized were more like 4 or 6% interest rates. So
I got another question with that, because you know how they want you to, like, you know, if you got multiple loans, they're like, well, let's combine them. So it's not in your best interest to combine them, because if it's unsubsidized, okay, y'all, let's see this right. This is a lesson. This is a lesson.
You never should consolidate your debt usually, unless it's going to be for a much lower interest rate. So usually consolidated loans, they take, first off, student loans usually have lower interest rates than all other loans. So you may have 3% student loans and 6% student loans, and then you may consolidate all of them to have only one payment, but you're only going to have one payment if you're paying the government anyway. I only had government loans. So that's the only thing I can speak from. I can't speak on Sally Mae. But you only have one payment anyway. When, you know, all of mine were serviced by one person, even though I had like 6 or 10 loans out, they're all serviced by one provider. So I only had one payment to make. But with the other ones, it's not the same case, maybe they have different people where they've borrowed from. But either way, when you consolidate, you may go from 3% and 6% interest rates to having one payment, but now you have a 10% interest rate or 8% interest rate or 15%. So you're going to be paying much more over the long term just for you to feel like you're paying less. And, maybe you have a smaller monthly payment right now, but I don't want to pay $200,000 on $60,000 of debt.
Right. I got you. So tell me, how did you go? So how did you create how long has your business been created, and what made you create it, and how did you go about it? What made you say, you know what? It's time for me to start my own business.
So my business started almost 3 years ago. The anniversary will be in January, where, it was, I guess, legal. But before then, I was just helping my friends out with their credit or their budget or, with their finances. Like, I would go over my own plan, and I will always hear from my friends, like, I don't know how you did it. Like, I don't know how you're doing all this. I worked full time. I went to school full time, and I was a single mom, and I bought a house, even in the midst of my grandma dying. So, hearing it myself, I'm like, I don't know how I did it either. I just had God and the structure, I guess, but when I looked at it, I was like, it's just because I had a plan and I was disciplined. And I was like, how many other people could benefit from having a plan and being disciplined? I was making $10 an hour when I was working at First Virginia. I was not making that much. I only had $1,600 a month gross. So, I mean, it's not like I had a ton of money or I was rich or, I had a rich uncle or anything like that. And even though my grandparents in North Carolina are millionaires, I borrowed from them and paid them back within a couple of months or weeks sometimes. They didn't give me any handouts. They don't believe in that. My grandpa favorite saying, if it's meant to be, it'll be, baby. And he told me that on my house because I was like, Grandpa, can you co-sign? And he was like, if it's meant to be, it'll be. So I didn't have that kind of handout where other people may have.
So tell me, all right, so tell me, so for the folks that are listening, so there's somebody that say, you know what? Because how old are you right now, Bree?
I'm now 26.
Girl, baby, y'all, I don't want to hear it. If you sitting up here and you 30 and over and you like, I don't even know how I'm going to begin. I don't know. That's what I got for you, the big eyes. Okay, so now listen, tell me if there's someone listening and they're like, you know what, that's my gift. Or there's a business, so there's something I want to do, and particularly if it's something in accounting or CPA, right? Anything in that area, right? But finances. They're like you, they worked in finances and they know that's their gift. Mm-hmm. They want to go out there, but they don't know where to start. Where would you say this is where you start? Start here.
I just started with researching. So first, just legalizing everything, have a legitimate business. I had set up for me an LLC, so they need to research the different types of business entity types that they can have. For me, it's best for an LLC, but other people may choose to go in with someone and have a partnership, or things of that nature. So it just depends on the person. But first, get your legal in order. And I just say that because I don't want anybody to be able to take my house. Say something happens wrong in my business. What you're not going to do is come for everything else I got, all my other assets. So I need those to be separate. And then after that, I would just say, find a great coach. I'm just now getting a business coach in year 2, going into year 3, and she has made a world of difference for me. I would hear people say how, oh, this priceless, or if you're a coach, you need a coach and things like that. And I'm just like, I'm not wasting money. I figure it out on my own. I'm so frugal. I like to hold on to money. I don't like spending it. So it's just like, I'm not paying that. They cost too much. I'm not even charging that much what they charging, but to get to a certain level, it is so important to invest in yourself. The same way that it's great to seek wise counsel. I didn't have anyone in my family that was a business owner that I could say, hey, can you go ahead and mentor me or help me or just let me know what the game is. So having a great coach, that is something that I definitely would have done sooner and invested in sooner rather than later, just to help set me up on the right path. Because when you're first getting started, you're so excited, you have all this energy and momentum, and you keep going. And as the years go on, if you're not hitting the marks that you thought you would hit or you wanted to hit, it's a lot more difficult. And you're more so maybe looking around like, is it worth it? Should I quit? Over 90% of businesses fail in the first few years. Like, is that about to be me? And I think having a coach early on would have even took away those doubts. So I would think those would be the main things, is just making sure your legal house is in order and then getting a great coach to help you on it, because and then share your credentials. There's too many people that are out here doing what I do and not doing it effectively, because they're just like, hey, I took my score from here to there, but they don't also have the education to back it up. So they don't know anything about accounting and finance. They only know what worked for them, but they don't know about any of the other methods and techniques out there that may work for someone else, because I don't feel like everything should be cookie cutter. I think personal finances are personal, and you should be able to make a custom plan for each individual, because how I handle money and how my husband handles money is completely different. And how you and your husband handle money may be different, and how this single mom versus that single mom handle money different, and just like your attitude towards it, your mindset. So every technique is not going to work for everybody. In a perfect world, if everyone could just follow steps 1 through 5, the same exact ones, then yes, maybe they would get to that same point. But people got different destinations, they have different goals, and they have different priorities, and those need to be taken into account when it comes to personal finances. So I think it's very important for us to have more credentialed financial coaches out there that have degrees and have, a CPA or something of that nature to back it up, so that they can say, hey, I know about all these different techniques other than this one way that worked for me.
So tell me tell us about the services that you provide. Your company. What's the name of your company, and what are the services? What do you guys? Tell me your snatch. Your snatch.
So my company is BD Smith Financial Services. I offer financial coaching for my clients. I love to help them to take the stress away from their money and to conquer their goals. I go over budgeting, saving, getting out of debt, increasing their credit score. And just also talking about retiring early as an option. I have a plan that within the next 10 years, my husband will be retired. My husband works in the shipyard. It's hard on his body. I want him to be able to move around at 70 and 80. I want us to enjoy life. I do not want him in a retirement home or for me to be taking care of him. So, I'm going to save both of us by helping him come off that job early and not break his back. So, before he's 40, he will be retired. And I will also have the option to retire if I want to, but I want to do my business for life. This is something I'm excited about and I love. And this is something that I want to do until I'm old and gray, and until God tells me enough is enough, move on to the next thing. So
what advice would you have for a single mother who feels like, oh, I had this baby and everything seems like it's going this way? What advice do you have for that person?
Lean on God. Lean on God. That he got me through. I never had to worry about bills being paid. I never worried about missing a meal. And food stamps did not want to help me. They only want to give me $50. And as soon as I got an ounce of overtime, they was like, you can't even get that. I was like, dang, help a sister out. I ain't making that much. So being a single mom, you can feel like your back is against the wall. Treat yourself, but not too much. So don't go out and get that $400 payment on a car. You can't afford that. It's okay to be in something that just gets you from point A to point B safely with your kids, and not to have the flashiest of things right now. If that's not the stage of life that you're in. Yes, you deserve nice things, but stability is the most important thing. And so that's the biggest thing that I usually see. with single moms is just, you know, like, hey, I need to enjoy life too. And yes, you do, you deserve that. But I would just say, you know, find out how to scale it and do it within your means so that you're not doing it to the point that you need a man or you need somebody else to be able to bail you out. I never wanted to depend on anybody for anything. When my husband came in, he was a bonus. He was not a necessity. And so, you know, I loved him. And as long as he was going to make me happy, we were great. And if he wasn't going to make me happy, I would have said deuces and went on about my way because I could take care of myself and my bills were paid on time every time. So I think that needs to be the main thing, is just making sure that you are self-sufficient and able to stand on your own too, and make sure your priorities are in order, where you're making sure that home is taken care of for you and your kids to never feel the struggle. And when people see you taking care of stuff, they help you. My great aunts helped me and watched my daughter while I went to class at night. So I took her from daycare around 6. I would come drop her off with my great aunt at my house. And then I go to classes from 7 to 10 at night and, you know, come back. But if I was over here and not having my priorities in order or doing what I was supposed to do, they would not have gave me that help. And they watched my daughter for free for years to help me get through school. And I owe everything to them. Like, family helped me so much. And it was only because they saw me doing what I was supposed to do.
That's right. That is exactly right. You know what? You know, when everybody wants to help the person that's trying to help themselves, right? Mm-hmm. And nobody, because I know, because I carried on a little bit, you know, they like, I watch them, but not for you to go hit them streets, not while you on a club. Now that's not going to happen. You better find you a babysitter. Now, tell me, so you know this era that we're in now, everybody trying to outdo. If I've never seen such, I mean, now we have birthday parties where people wear gowns. We got the sweet 16 party. We got the this, we got the that, we got the this, we got the everybody's once at age 20, they want to have what the grandmama had and the mama had, but they're not doing what you did. What advice do you have for the people that are trying to keep up with not the Jones, they're just trying to keep up with everybody, the Kardashians. No, that's what they're keeping up with the housewives of everything. So what do you say to that group?
Check your values. I was going around people that were also in their 20s and they had their nails done, their hair done all the time. They had a nice car. They were going out on every scene. I mean, they were snatched. They were looking good. I was just like, man, they living it up over here, living with their mom and dad, just living the best life. And I was a little bit jealous, to be honest. I mean, you know, I'm driving my little 2002 Saturn and I'm just, you know, putting along. I ain't get my nails done. I always had a ponytail. Could rarely get my hair done. That was like a luxury. So I would just say check your priorities, because also, you know, while it seemed like they were living such a great life, I just decided what was a great life for me. And for me, it was buying a house. And so I bought a house. They didn't do that. I got a 6-figure check, and a lot of them are still in apartments. They're still dreaming about being able to buy a house. That's now a goal of theirs, but it wasn't a goal of theirs then. And so, but because I got my priorities in line early, and decided what success looked like for me, because instead of looking rich, I wanted to actually be rich. And so I had to have a wealth mindset before I could become wealthy. And I'm not wealthy yet, but I'm getting there. And so, you know, I have assets instead of liabilities, and I've paid off all my debts. I don't have a car payment. And, you know, I got the nice car years later. So I got my 2017 and 2016, and it still drives just fine, and it's paid off in all mine. So I'm good to go. I don't need another car. So, you know.
That thing, right? Ride better when it's paid off, don't it?
It sure do.
Yeah!
It sure do. It hit that asphalt.
There's something about that thing. The engine might go up, but it's all right. It's yours. Mm-hmm. But let me ask you, so this is what I'm saying. You get some really great information, and I'm like, I'm gonna keep on. We're gonna be. I'm sure all of us be paying. You need to watch this, and you need to watch this, and you need, because at the end of the day, I wish to be. If I'm being honest with you, I wish that I was as responsible and smart with my money as you were with yours. I wasn't, and there was no guidance. No, but that wasn't an excuse, because you didn't actually, whether somebody gave you guidance or not, I could have taken it upon myself, but I didn't. But I'm so proud of you. I just want you to know that. I'm very proud of you for all that you're doing and all that you did to get you where you are. So I want to open it up because, it is 7:20, and I want to make sure that you get your flowers, and I also want to provide opportunities for the guests in the room to ask you any questions, or one, to give you your flowers and to ask any questions, or have any comments they want to share with you. So Hope or Kelly, what you got?
I do have a question. Kudos to you, Bree. Do you think that had you not gotten pregnant and had the falling out with your mom, would your trajectory have been this route? So sometimes when we're pressed, it pushes us in a direction. Do you feel that, I know that you said you always had planned to go stay with your grandmother, but do you feel it would have pushed you towards thinking bigger about your plan because you had your daughter to think about?
No, I planned on initially going to live with grandma at 18. I was going to a college as far away from mom as possible. So I was going to be in Howard. I was going to be in California, Harvard, somewhere, but I wasn't going to be here. And so I would have been living my college life. I would have racked up over 6 figures in debt. Instead of getting a 6-figure check, I would be owing 6 figures in college student loans. And I would have gone to get a high paying job. Maybe I would have worked on Wall Street or something in New York. But I mean, my life would be completely different without my daughter, because I had different plans. I had different priorities. Just me. I had been a mom all my life, to kids that I didn't create. So I was about to go live. And then my daughter was like, skirt, no, you're not. So yeah, I cannot say I would have did the same. I would have been living my best 20-something life, making all the bad decisions.
I just saw somebody the other day that children make you one. When I at 17, everybody else was living their best life. When I go back and talk to the people I went to school with, they're like, I thought you was there. No, I was not. No, I was not there for prom. Nope, I wasn't there for senior anything. I tell everybody the story that when I got on Facebook because our middle son went into the Air Force. So I was like, let me get on this Facebook so I can kind of keep up with, be in contact with them. And when I got on there, everybody was sending me, connecting. And they started, so then the first Throwback Thursday threw me down to the ground because they threw it back to senior week. Like they're sharing all these pictures. And I mean, let the floodgates, tears was pouring all down my eyes because it was like I never existed. Right. And it was a reminder of that period of my life. Right. So it was like, because with me, it was a bad time. I didn't get to go do any of those things. So no senior prom for Stephanie. No junior prom for Stephanie. No walking across the stage with them, none of that. Right. So I mean, I cried about it, and it was my drama. It was trauma to me. So I applaud you for moving forward and continuing on. So I want to ask you, and wait a minute, I go back. So I told them that while everybody else was living those things, I had to hurry up and grow up because you got a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You got a baby.
Yeah.
It's not their baby, it's your baby.
Exactly.
And you gotta, and look, Pampers, diapers, come on now. I don't even know how they can afford them now because I thought it was too expensive back then. And all my boys in their 30s. So what in the world? They're older than you. Now wait a minute, and now they talking about getting a house. So maybe I ain't do. I didn't do something. All right, but thank you. Hold on, what you got?
So, Bree, I just want to say thank you again for coming on. I I truly commend you for what you've done. Being at the age of 26, you're on your second house. You know, you financially responsible on how you spent your money, even just the student loan money. Like, you know, the fact that you took out the max only, you know, as a cushion, and then when you finished, paid it all back. Like, that's amazing. And I really wish more college students could hear your story, because I think it would help a lot of them. And I say that because I do have two children who are both well, one's in college. She's working on her PhD now. So her student loan debt scares the crap out of me, literally. But she didn't have a choice. I mean, it was one of those things, I didn't plan for it. So I just sent her your contact information because she is looking to buy a house. She lives in Delaware. So I commend you. Like, I think it's great. And I mean, for me, I'm pulling myself back up financially. So I got your newsletter. So I just thank you. I thank you. I think you're going to set a new trend for millennials, you know, and teaching them, helping them to be financially responsible versus worried about, like you said, getting their hair done, the nails done, having the latest car, the hot handbags and all that good stuff. When, you know, they turn 20 or 21, they can own a house, you know, versus what they're going to pay in rent. So I commend you, and I really hope you really get out and that you're able to connect with maybe college campuses and even high schools and teaching some of this financial literacy that they don't get. Like, these kids go out and they have no clue. They don't know how to write a check. They don't know anything about a credit score, or, you know, some are learning it now early, but I think that that would be a really good place for you. I'm sorry, I'm just envisioning it now. So a good place for you to be and is in those high schools and the colleges, you know, just helping them, because they don't know, and then they're contingent and relying on their parents, you know, to bail them out or to help them out. And maybe versus them having a baby at a young age, you can still teach them to be, you know, financially responsible. So I commend you and congratulations on all your accomplishments, and I can't wait to see what's going to come next for you.
Thank you. Thank you a lot.
Oh my gosh. And I ditto. And matter of fact, Katrina, folks, when you watch the replay, make sure you get in contact with Bree. I think Bree would be a perfect person to put on your panel for one of your sessions, and even the upcoming one, but particularly the ones that you've had following. I think she would be a perfect reoccurring guest to talk to the young folks and to encourage them, and even us older folks, you know, season. So Bree, before I do my closing, I would want to know if you have any final words for our listeners.
Yes, just, you know, discipline is everything. Without it, I would have made it nowhere. So, you know, always be more disciplined. And I do love helping people. Majority of my clients are actually in 30s and 40s, because now they're saying, I want to get serious about my money and actually, you know, do something about it and get my budget in order and get my financial plan in order so that I can reach my goals. But I would love to be able to help young people as well. If they're ready. What I say is that, you know, I'm a financial coach, not a mindset coach. So you have to come with the right mindset that you're ready to do the work, because it is hard work to be successful, to have a wealth mindset and to become wealthy. Now, I don't mind if you only think that you can do a little, and then you'll find out through coaching that you can do a lot, but you got to at least believe that you can do something and be willing to put in the work to get somewhere. Because otherwise there's nothing I can do. I can tell you everything, and if you don't implement and do it yourself, or do any other work, then you'll be looking at the same place as you were before. So, you know, and it even goes for me. You know.
Wait a minute. So what you're saying is they're gonna need to have to come to me first to get their mind right, and then come over to you. Okay, guys.
There you go. They need it all transformed.
Yeah, girl, you know, we transform minds. All right. So listen, I thank you I thank you for your yes. I thank you for reaching out. I thank you for looking and seeing that we said that we were looking for speakers. If anybody wanted to come and you raised your hand, I am available. So thank you. But I wanted to ask you, do you have any offer or anything that's going on right now that you're offering to your clients that you want to offer to the listeners?
Yes, so you can go on my website at bdsmithfinancial.com. You should see it next to my name, but I'll also put in all the comments. I'm offering free 30-minute consultations just to see where you are financially and if I can help you to get a financial plan. If I don't think you're ready, I'm going to be honest and let you know that, it may not be a good fit right now. It may be a better fit for you later on. I feel like honesty is the best policy. I don't want to just take your money and I know that I can't help you get results. That's just not a place of integrity to me. So integrity is utmost, but you can go up there. I'm also on Instagram at Bree_D Smith and on Facebook at BD Smith Financial. And I'll be doing my Money Mondays this Monday. Facebook and Instagram decided it wasn't going to work, but I will be back this Monday coming and telling people about how I got 6 figures on the sale of my first home and just diving into that. So I would love to hear from people.
Wow, thank you. So you heard it here. So, we said we are changing lives, we are changing relationships, and we're changing finances. I hope that you're tuning in each week to hear from all these great people that we're bringing before you. And not only hearing from, I want you just to hear from, I want you to hear it, receive it, and then take an action. Change mind, right? Change action, change circumstances. So at this point, like every point at the end of the evening, I say farewell. But before I do, I want to remind you to shine your light. Shine your light. I mean, look, Lisa Nichols says that if your light is too bright for other people and too bright for you, put your sunglasses on. But I'm telling you that, look, sunglasses or no sunglasses, you have to shine your light because that light that's inside of you is God's blessing to the world. I know for me, I believe in the Holy Trinity. So I know that every time I move, everywhere I go, every time I open my mouth, everything is coming out from inside of me is God's blessing on God using me. Right? Because God uses people to change the world. And so I have to make sure I'm on my purpose. Because if I'm not, then the people that are supposed to be blessed are not receiving what they are. And sometimes that blessing is a smile. Sometimes that blessing is you not saying a word and just listening because you got 2 ears and 1 mouth. And sometimes it may be provisions, but oftentimes, it's just you being present. So shine your light, and if it's too bright for you, put your sunglasses on. If it's too bright for other people, ask them to put on theirs. Have a good night, and thank you all. See you next week. All right, y'all. Y'all know what we know. It's like it's party time. All right, Hope. Next week. Thank you, Kelly.